Everyone in the church fell silent when the groom suddenly dropped the bouquet. Gasps echoed through the hall as he muttered coldly, "I can't do this," and walked away, leaving his bride in her wheelchair, trembling, speechless. The soft sound of her bouquet hitting the floor seemed louder than anything else. Amelia had dreamt of this day her entire life. She had promised herself that love would be enough, that despite the accident that left her paralyzed, she could still be someone's forever. But as guests turned their eyes away, pretending not to notice her tears, she realized love was easier to promise than to keep. Rain began to fall. The wedding guests disappeared one by one, leaving her alone outside the stone church, her white gown soaked and heavy, her veil clinging to her face. She tried to move her wheelchair, but the front wheel got stuck in the mud. For a moment, she just sat there, letting the rain mix with her tears, whispering to herself, "Why wasn't I enough?" That's when a car stopped. A man stepped out, holding an umbrella. His little daughter peeked out from the back seat, her bright eyes filled with curiosity. The man's suit was old, his shoes worn, but his voice was gentle. "Are you okay?" he asked. Amelia looked up at him, embarrassed. It's nothing. I'll be fine." He didn't believe her. He set down the umbrella, crouched beside her, and without hesitation, freed the wheel from the mud. "You shouldn't be out here alone," he said softly. "Let me take you somewhere dry." Reluctantly, she nodded. Inside his small car, warmth returned. The little girl smiled at her and said, "You look like a princess." Amelia almost laughed, even through the pain. "Princesses don't cry this much," she whispered. "Then maybe you're a brave one," the girl replied, tilting her head. They stopped by a small diner on the edge of town. The man introduced himself as Daniel, a single dad, working 2 jobs just to keep the lights on for his daughter, Lily. He offered Amelia his jacket and ordered her soup, though it was clear he could barely afford it. She tried to refuse, but he smiled. "You've had enough rejection for one day. Let someone say yes to you for once." That night, they talked. She told him about her accident, how a reckless driver changed her life, how her fiancé stayed until the day she could no longer walk. Daniel listened, really listened, not with pity, but with understanding. When she asked about his story, he said simply, "My wife passed. Cancer. She was my everything, but I learned that pain doesn't mean life stops. It just changes the way we live it." Something inside Amelia shifted that night. Days turned into weeks. She saw Daniel again, first to thank him, then because Lily wouldn't stop asking when the princess lady would visit. Soon, she was spending evenings at their little apartment, helping Lily with schoolwork, sharing meals that always tasted like comfort. The laughter in that tiny home was the kind she hadn't heard in years. One evening, while Lily was asleep, Amelia found herself alone on the porch with Daniel. The sky was painted in soft orange hues. "You know," she said quietly, "I thought my life ended the day I lost the use of my legs. But maybe it just started over." Daniel smiled. "Sometimes life gives us back what we lost, just in a different shape." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, folded paper crane. "Lily made this for you," he said. "She said it's a wish. For you to never feel broken again." Amelia held it close, unable to speak. Weeks later, Daniel invited her to a community fair. She arrived in her wheelchair, wearing a pale blue dress. People smiled at her differently now, not out of pity, but respect. As music filled the air, Daniel walked up to her and extended his hand. "Dance with me," he said. She looked at him, surprised. "Daniel, then let me dance for both of us," he said with a grin. And he did. He twirled her chair gently in rhythm, their laughter rising above the crowd. For the first time in years, she didn't feel like the woman who was left behind. She felt seen. As months passed, Daniel and Amelia grew inseparable. Their bond wasn't rushed. It was built through small moments. Morning coffee, shared silence, helping Lily with her science fair project, planting flowers in the yard. Then, one afternoon, Amelia rolled up to the porch and found Daniel waiting with Lily, holding something behind his back. He knelt beside her and revealed a small box. Inside wasn't a diamond ring, but a silver band carved with the words, "Brave One." "I don't need you to stand," Daniel said, his voice trembling. "I just need you to stay." Amelia's tears fell freely this time, not from heartbreak, but from gratitude. She reached for his hand, and Lily threw her arms around both of them, squealing with joy. From that moment, The woman who was once left in the rain outside the church finally found her home, not in perfection, but in love that saw beyond her scars.